here's what we've got. You kind of get the idea. There's some deeper convection on the northwest side, the southeast side, and we're kind of dealing with some drier air and some shear up on the northern side as well. So that's going to be an issue. And the models have this for the next couple of days. But then by the time we get into the weekend, we're still not moving all that much, but the shear wanes. And that means the storms can really go crazy. So notice again, you just go back to yesterday morning, and we just haven't moved much at all. Look at the 8 p.m. It was moving at 1 mile an hour. And they can tell that because they go out and get that center fix. They get the low pressure where it is from drop to drop, and you can just tell that it's just not moving all that much. Look at the trough that's coming in here and still squeezing the shear profile. It's right overhead. All right, until that lifts out, which may take a day or two, we're going to stay sheared. We're going to stay sheared, and we're going to stay, a weaker system here. But here's the deal. This is so warm in terms of the water temperatures and the deep ocean heat content. All it's going to take is a few moments of this stuff to stop, and this thing has a chance to really explode. So we may see temporary booms and, periods of weakening, but it really looks like this weekend, notice the forecast shear kind of slides up over the islands and kind of leaves us in this area of little shear. And depending on where it is, remember, this is a track cone, so it could be anywhere as we go through this weekend. If it's down here, especially south of Jamaica, which it very well could be, this thing could blow up. As a matter of fact, forecasts take this thing to 120, even 130 miles per hour. So Cat 4, major hurricane. Jamaica, the last time you got a direct hit from a major hurricane was Gilbert back in 1988. All right, it was a Cat 4 when it moved over. It got as intense as a Cat 5. All right, so we'll see what happens, right? Just be preparing there. That's the best advice I can give you. Over the weekend, a lot of the guidance has this growing up through the category scale, not surprising. All the spaghetti models are still kind of drifting this off toward the west. Google and several of them now bringing it across Jamaica eventually as we work our way in toward Tuesday. And by Thursday, it may be completely out of the picture. So the same trough that we're talking about today, that's here. That kind of opens the door for this jet stream that's going to come screaming in from the south, from the northwest, I should say, and eventually just kick this thing up. But notice as this new trough develops in the east, we may have our own surface cyclone of our own to deal with up through the mid-Atlantic and the Northeast the day before Halloween. All right, so Melissa, surface cyclone, whew, it gets a little wild in the jet stream this time of the year, and certainly the end of November, Steph, is no exception.
That it does. So let's look at the rainfall that's going to come from this system, which actually might bring you some flashbacks going back to Matthew in 2016, which went up through this region, then, of course, caused tons of issues in North Carolina. But it caused hundreds of deaths here into Haiti. And we had tremendous rainfall. And there were deaths on other islands, too. But Haiti got really hit hard. And then don't forget Maria, the other M name, going back to 2017 as a Cat 4, crossing over the entire island of Puerto Rico, taking out power to the entire island, causing tremendous devastation. So the M name storm definitely might put some people kind of back a few years thinking about these other storms, and we could have the same impacts from Melissa that we got from maybe Matthew and also from Maria when we're talking about our rainfall. Rainfall is going to be tremendous. You're talking about all of Jamaica seeing at least 5 to 8 inches, and then more than half of the country seeing 12, 18 inches. Notice 12 to 18 on the southern part of Hispaniola, but 8 to 12, 5 to 8 over perhaps half of Hispaniola, even Puerto Rico. Some of those bands seeing 3 to 5 inches. Cuba, eastern Cuba, seeing that heavy rain as well. So what happens is you get that easterly flow coming into Jamaica to start with the system to our south. And we have got high terrain, not only Jamaica, but you'll also see this over Hispaniola. The terrain takes this warm air mass, brings it up. When it goes up, it cools. So that means it condenses and rains out. And when you get all this heavy rain, when you have terrain, it makes matters worse. Think of Helene in western North Carolina, all the mudslides, the landslides. Well, we've got Blue Mountain Peak here at 7,400 feet, and it doesn't take a lot of terrain, I'll say that. You could have a few hundred feet, and that really can squeeze out that much more rain. So the combo of the heavy rain, the long-lasting event, and the terrain could be really treacherous and deadly for people here. So we need to take this very seriously for the 2.8 million people that live in Jamaica. And then, of course, we have 8,000 to 10,000 feet here into Hispaniola. And that, of course, could bring devastating effects and deadly effects to the island.